Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and today we're talking about super budget knives that are really good. And we have a lot to get through, so let's get into it. This is the SITIVIEN ST126. Now, most of the SITIVIEN knives, all with G10 and D2, are all under $30. I think this one's like $26, $27. Extremely affordable, but you get that premium action that you expect in a much more expensive knife, and they're usually really locked up, rock solid. This one's very comfortable in the hand, great blade shape, good grind, deep carry clip that is inset with button screws, and this one's in JG10, but it comes in many different options. Everything will be linked down in the description, and you know, whichever one. When you click the link, you can switch the colors and options. Now, this one has good access to the lock bar, very easy to get past the detent, and you can reverse flick it. It is a medium-sized knife, but an extremely capable knife. Next, we have another SITIVIEN. We're going to go through a few SITIVIENs. The ST119. Now, this one has a little bit of a forward-leaningness to it. If you just kind of look at it, it kind of goes like this, and you feel that in the hand, and it kind of leans towards your cuts. Drop point blade, multiple deployments. You have the reverse flick, thumb flick, or the flipper tab, and again, that super premium action. G10 scales, inset clip with button screws, but they're kind of inset along with the clip, so the clip works well. You have this channel running down the handle. It is pretty comfortable. There is a couple edges that are a little bit sharper than I would like, but it still works out really good, and it is still a great functional tool, especially for the prices. That one's going to be probably right around the same price, between $20 and $30. Next, we have another one. Now, this one's in some sort of micarta. I'm not sure what type of micarta it is, but this is the SITIVIEN ST132. D2 again. It is a flat ground blade with a blacked out blade and great access to the lock bar. This one's really good. This one actually does have a reversible deep carry clip, and they give you the plate. So when you switch the clip, you can switch the plate over to this side. Multiple deployments again, and again, premium action. Very comfortable in the hand. This one kind of does have placements for your fingers, but they work out really good even for a large size hand. I do feel the clip a little bit, but it's not horrifying. And, you know, you do have that fuller for the reverse flick. Solid knife. Good looking knife. This micarta, I mean, it is, you know, more on the budget end quality of micarta, but hey, you know, when you look at the prices, that, you know, these are extremely affordable. And then last SITIVIEN we're going to show, we have the SITIVIEN ST131 D2 steel spear point-ish blade. Again, premium action. You do have that fuller for the reverse flick or the thumb flick. Now, this one has a very comfortable style handle, regardless which direction you are poking into or pointing it into. Anyways, the flipper tab does kind of curve around your finger a little bit, really locking you in place. So if you are pushing forward, you're never going to have to worry about sliding up the blade with this one. This one really traps you behind that flipper tab. Deep carry clip again, and this one has a little bit of features on the handle, you know, just to give you a little something to kind of grip onto, maybe to prevent a little bit more sliding as well, even though you are so locked in already. Good access to the lock bar, very smooth drop. These are all on ball bearing pivots, and this one has a shadow boxed G10, so you can see the liners kind of poking out there. Next is the CH3015. D2 steel, drop point blade, good looking drop point blade too. D2 steel, G10 scales, steel liner lock. It's not a deep carry clip, but a lot of people don't really like deep carry clips. So, you know, it helps you grab, you know, have something to grab onto when you put it in and out of your pocket. Now, it has a really tall flipper tab, kind of pokey, but what it does is it gives you a ton of leverage above the pivot. So this thing shoots out with authority. Now, my one complaint with this one is the access to the lock bar is very tight, at least for my fingers. It is something you could easily fix at home with a quick Dremel, but you know, it's still very, very smooth on the drop. Great reverse flicking action. Solid little knife and very comfortable in the hand, especially for the size. Next, we have probably the best super affordable knives, and that's from GANZO. GANZO knives, period. This is the GANZO FH12, but it also comes in a liner lock version, the GANZO FH11. Now, I did this, so this is my doing. It came with a coated blade, or no, sorry, it came with a satin blade, and I etched it and did this pattern on it, and then heat anodized the clip. This is the stainless steel version. They both come in D2 steel, and this is extreme premium action. Something you would expect from like Shirogorov or something. Very neutral ergo, solid lockup, all directions, somewhat of a straight back blade shape. I'm sure it's called a drop point, but it's barely a drop point. It is more of a straight back. And it is a full-size knife, reversible deep carry clip that is in set. Great access to the lock bar. Very soft access to the lock bar too. So very easy and comfortable to disengage. Same thing with the liner lock version. Super, super good action. Again, inset clip. Snappy, snappy detent. And it's very smooth on its ball bearing pivot. Now, the next GANZO is the GANZO FH922, one of my favorite GANZOs. This thing is super, super good. One of the most comfortable flipper tabs you could get. It's rounded and it accepts a push button or a light switch. G10 scales, reversible deep carry wire clip. I mean, this thing, for the money, these things are under $30. I think they're like $25, something like that, right around there, maybe even less. It might be like 23, between 25 or 23 and $27. But man, really grippy G10. That's very comfortable in the hand, very neutral grips, regardless if you're pulling towards you, you know, cutting a rope, or if you're doing push cuts. You can easily get over the flipper tab for really, really tough push cuts. Love the blade shape, nice, beautiful swedge on top. It's going to work good for utility cuts. Good access to the lock bar, very smooth on the drop. Yeah, just super, super good. Now, this next one, it's tough for me to pick between this one and the last one of what my favorite GANZO is. This one's the GANZO FH21, but dang it, this thing is so good. Some of the snappiest action yet out of all the knives. The flipper tab, the way the flipper tab is angled above the pivot, it just offers a ton of leverage, and it is super, super snappy. You would almost think it's assisted. I mean, this thing kicks. And even though it has that ridiculous snappy action that's kind of addictive, it's also very smooth on the drop. Great access to the lock bar. Drop point blade. Nice swedge on the top, but it doesn't run all the way down to the tip. That's going to allow materials to pass over the spine, you know, with ease. G10 scales, again, comes in multiple different options. Deep carry clip, not reversible though. That is the one thing with this one. But good access to the lock bar, super, super smooth. G10 backspacer with a lanyard hole. Only one deployment option, but they made up for it with the deployment option. Next, the Sencut Brazoria. Nice and slim in the hand, So it's very slim in the hand, but it has somewhat of a larger blade for the hand, which makes it really, really capable. I mean, you have a lot of blade there to break down cardboard or do any of your cutting tasks. Somewhat of a straight clip point, so the utility cuts are going to be phenomenal. Coated blade comes in multiple different options. D2 steel has somewhat of a stone wash on the blade as well. G10 scales that are, and a clip that's deep carry that is reversible. Flat screws, so you're not going to have anything in the way. It's not inset, but it still works great. Great access to the lock bar. Super, super smooth. Great reverse flicking or thumb flicking action with that fuller. The fuller is nice and sharp, but then it also has a very comfortable flipper tab. Super smooth on the drop. Internal stop pins, which I love to see. That's going to help with the side-to-side play, as long as your pivot's nice and tight. Perfectly centered. Very, very affordable. I think these are like $45. And yeah, really good quality. CIVIVI or WE Knives are the ones that make these. This is their very budget line, their lowest budget line, I guess you could say, or the most affordable knives. But because that blade sticks so far out of the handle, it's very, very easy to reverse flick. And even though the handle is nice and slim, it's still pretty comfortable. Yes, I feel the deep carry clip, but I can totally get by. And then next, the Sencut HONORIS. Now, again, you know, all these come in different materials. You can switch them. This one is I think this is the gray micarta. Beautiful spear pointish blade. Love the swedge. Really good for utility cuts, push cuts, even reverse cuts, because this handle is very ergonomic. Again, yeah, I feel a deep carry clip, but it has flat screws. Works really good in and out of the pocket. It is reversible. Great access to the lock bar. Very smooth on the drop, and that whole deployment is extremely easy to get to. Now, this is extreme lightweight. I mean, you would never even know this is in your pocket because it's so light. Very easy to thumb flick. The flipper tab also, lots of jimping, very comfortable, very easy to deploy. And it's super, super snappy. But because of the ergos, you know, it's very comfortable going forward or reverse grip, pinch grips. Just a very neutral handle. And good access to the lock bar again. I mean, it's a great, solid knife. And for the money, I mean, it's a very capable, lightweight knife. Now, the newest Sencut that I have in stock is the Sencut SACHSE, and this is probably the most affordable, best button lock you could get. Under $50, I think it's like $46 or something like that, right around there. And it has a flipper tab that the button lock offers a great detent for the flipper tab, so it's super snappy. I mean, there's no detent lash, anything like that. You do have the thumb studs as well, and the way they have it set up, it has a really good detent. It's not spongy. It actually pops. This one's the brown micarta. They do have green micarta. Deep carry clip that is reversible with flat screws again. Very comfortable in the hand. Again, yes, I feel the deep carry clip. Just the nature of the beast. But this one's not as bad as, you know, maybe some of the others. It's pretty comfortable. It's a full-size knife. Beautiful blade shape. This one's going to work great for utility cuts and push cuts, even, you know, cutting ropes and straps. And it is a 9CR18 MOV. So unlike some of the other knives on this list, this one actually has a stainless steel on it that's a good quality stainless, but you're still going to get good edge retention. Easy to sharpen, really responsive to a strop. So yeah, great knife, man. This one's a good one. And I can't talk about Sencut without talking about the Actium. It's been my favorite Sencut and one of my most favorite affordable budget knives. Multiple deployments, very comfortable flipper tab with an insanely good detent, but it has a straight, it's like a harpoon straight clip point or drop point. You can call it a harpoon drop point, but it has a super deep hollow grind, very thin behind the edge, beautiful choil and plunge grind. It's just as a tool, as something you're going to use and sharpen, this thing is amazing. Very comfortable ergos. You can see how it kind of has somewhat of like a gun stock handle, so it kind of leans forward a little bit. You have that choil. You can get them nice and tight to the edge for heavy-duty push cuts. Reverse cuts are not going to be the most comfortable, but pinch grips are going to be good. Deep carry reversible clip. Great access to the lock bar. Very, very smooth. The handle allows you to have a lot of leverage into the thumb studs. So, yeah, man, this one's a really, really good one. Now, this one's actually in D2 steel, I believe. Yes, this one is in D2 steel. Now, next, the CJRB FELDSPAR. Now, this comes in lots of different options. They have the big one, the full-size one. They have the mini. They have the budget line one. They have the ARRPM 9 one, which I have right here. So this one's going to cost a little bit more money. But this one is very affordable, under $40. I think it's like 38 bucks, something like that. Don't quote me on any of these prices. Just hit the link below and check for yourself. I'll have all the links individually. Great access to lock bar. Very, very smooth. This is thumb studs only, but it's a good looking knife. Very functional knife. Super comfortable in the hand. You can choke up a little bit, you know, if you take advantage of that spot right there. But yeah, great access to the lock bar. It is on ceramic caged bearings, so it's very smooth on the drop. Deep carry clip that is inset, that is reversible as well. Beautiful looking pivot collar. Like I said, good looking knife, and it's very functional. Reverse grips work good. Pinch grips, you can do utility cuts, great push cuts. Now this one is contoured with the blue G10. There are other color options. This one has the flat G10, but this one has the ARPM 9 steel, so a little bit of an upgrade because it's Artisan's or CJRB's proprietary steel. It's their steel, so very cool. Let's check out the next one. Now, let's talk a little bit of Kuby. We got the Kuby KU322, I think it is. I think it's a KU322. This is a big beast of a knife. Full-size knife, 3.5-inch blade, 3.6-inch blade, something like that. Amazing flipping action and detent. Super, super smooth. Fantastic hole deployment or thumb deployment for the reverse flick or thumb. Nice broad blade that, it's not the thinnest behind the edge. But, it's still relatively thin, but it passes through materials really good because you have so much handle here and so much leverage into your cuts. The reverse grip's not going to be the most comfortable, but you could definitely pull it off. Utility cuts, that's where this one's not the best, but you could definitely, open things up with it or anything like that, but you're not going to do hard use utility cuts with it. But for a regular EDC or something where you're going to want to break down cardboard, this thing is extremely, extremely well done. Nice big T8 hardware all the way around, reversible deep carry clip, great left-handed or right-handed, and yeah, just a super, super solid knife. And, it's a bit of a beast while also being very, very affordable. These are right around 50 bucks. Most Kubeys for their budget line is right around $50. The Kuby Momentum, my favorite budget Kuby as of right now. It's so fidgety. The front flipper works so good. One of the best front flippers for, a budget knife. The jimping goes up and around the top of the flipper tab, so it just works great. The blade kind of leans forward, so it kind of traps materials when you're cutting. The blade shape is somewhat of a harpoon drop point blade, so it's great for utility cuts. Reverse grip for cutting ropes is really good, and you see how it leans towards you, so it can trap ropes, so the rope is not going to slip up and around the blade when you're cutting. Great access to the lock bar, stupid smooth again, thumb studs, are very easy to get to, and the way the handle leans the way it does, they're so easy to get to. This knife is not only a great functional tool, but it's also it kind of helps you in ways, I should say, like the front flipper, right? You see how this is scooped down right there? That helps your front flipper action to be even better. The thumb studs, the way the handle kind of leans down or leans like this, it helps your hand and your grip to get to the thumb studs. When you're cutting with it, it leans, like I said, it leans like this. So, it's really easy to keep your blade into the material. Same thing with the reverse grip. This thing's a phenomenal tool, and also fidgety and fun to play with as well. And then one more Kuby. We have the Kuby CARVE. What a great knife. This one's one of my favorite Tontos. Now, I'm not saying it is my favorite Tonto. I have a lot of great Tontos, but the way this one is, it drops down right there. So the tip is not too hard to get to, but it does have a pronounced secondary tip. A little bit of belly in this area, and it allows you to get up nice and close to the edge for push cuts and breaking things down. The handle is super duper comfortable. D2 steel. This does come in multiple different options. You do have the fuller for the reverse flick. The flipper tab is extremely comfortable. Solid detent, really smooth on the drop, good access to the lock bar, inset deep carry clip. I don't think this one is reversible though, that is the one thing, but it's a mean looking knife, a good looking knife, and it's just a super functional knife. Even this flipper tab, it allows you to use it like a choil, or you can lock yourself behind the flipper tab if you don't want to slip up the blade. Yeah, really good one. And then last but not least, probably my favorite budget knife under $50. It's right around $44, the CIVIVI PRAXIS. One of the most functional tools, like I said, as a knife, under 50 bucks. The blade shape, spear point blade, beautiful swedge on top. This thing is super slicey, and because of these ergos, this thing is extremely comfortable in the hand. You can squeeze this all you want, and it's just good. It doesn't give you any hot spots. You can push it through dense materials. It's very comfortable, and you get up nice and close to the edge. Excuse me, to get really heavy duty cuts going. Pinch grips work good. Utility cuts work good. The action, it's only a flipper tab, flipping action, but it works so good. And I like to just reverse flick off of the coated blade. 9CR 18 MOV steel, so it is a stainless steel, not D2. This one is actually 9CR, and it has a deep carry clip that is reversible. The detent with the flipper tab does work phenomenally. It works great. So even though it only has technically one opening option, it's a great one. But like I said, I still like to reverse flick it. But you can just look at this and see this is a great knife. I mean, it has that practical knife shape, and that's kind of the beauty of it. It is a full-size knife and a great tool. Now, I have a lot of great budget knives, and I could even add more to this list, but I tried to keep them extremely affordable for you guys. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.